All right. Well, hello everybody. How's it going? Hope you are doing well. It's been a minute since we've done some podcasting here on my end. It's been a while. Of course, I've been really busy with lots of musical stuff. I got some shows happening on the horizon later this month, and it's been a busy one for me. And of course, I know a lot of you guys have been busy on your end. So thanks for taking the time to come into my live stream today. Again, this is so cool to have a platform where I can hang out with you guys. Whether you guys are here in Vancouver or maybe you're not from Vancouver, you're from other places. Maybe you're from the other side of the world. If you're tuning into other places outside Vancouver, I welcome you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you may be. Whether it be in your living room, your office, your workplace of choice, whatever it is, thank you so much for tuning in today. So again, it's been a while since I've done Music Talk Mondays. Again, I normally do this on a weekly basis, but it's been so busy, so now I do it on some special occasions. But it's great to have you guys on here, just to just to tune in and just have a good discussion about things that have been happening. So the reason why I'm doing this podcast tonight is it's a very special reason. A lot has been happening in our Vancouver music scene. It's on the unfortunate side. We got the very sudden news last week in early October, specifically last week, Tuesday, on October 7th. Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, October 7th last week that... No, sorry, not October 4th last week that Cafe Deux Soleils, the legendary Cafe Deux Soleils on Commercial Drive, has been permanently closed for good. So that is the big news in our Vancouver music scene last week. And of course, I didn't post too much about that. Of course, I had to cancel one of my booked events, which was Piano Karaoke Night, which I know a lot of you guys were looking forward to. I really do deeply apologize that it had to cancel just like that out of nowhere. But we all knew about the unfortunate news for that reason. And to be honest with you, it took me quite a while for me to process this news. It was a huge kick in the gut for me. So earlier in this year, I think, it was earlier this year, or I think almost last year, I would say, we did get the news that Cafe Deux Soleils was up for sale, but we weren't really sure if that place was going to be gone, despite it being on sale. So I didn't know what to make of it. Of course, months later, then sometime in springtime, I was asked by the management team from Cafe Deux Soleils that they were having events again, and so they asked me to do Piano Karaoke Night, and I was really excited about that, and we had a few successful nights, of course, and the last one was in September. That was the last Piano Karaoke Night at Cafe Deux Soleils, and then, of course, and then just last week, the venue shut down unexpectedly, and so this was a huge kick in the gut for me. Yeah, it was hard for me to process this whole news, and I know normally I would make a long, lengthy post about this on my personal social media, but it was hard for me to find words to say how do I say goodbye to a venue that I've been so connected with for so many years. How do I do that? Because that place for me was my second home as a musician, and it's a second home to a lot of you guys too. I've seen some other great events there. Of course, there was some really great comedy improv night hosted by my friend Daniel Chai, him and his whole crew are just amazingly talented people for comedy improv. And a big shout out to, of course, to all the people who've put together the Poetry Slam nights, to all the different hosts from the Open Mic Night, of course. And the Open Mic Night was the big part of my life, musically speaking. Within the last 10 plus years, that's how I made a lot of my friends from the local music scene, through that open mic specifically. Of course, there's other open mics that I've been to where I did make a lot of really great, cool friends along the way. I'm always thankful for that. But the open mic at Cafe Deux Soleils had a very uh, very awesome connection. It was something about that venue that I don't know what it is that made me drawn to them, but part of it I would say is it is the people there for sure, but I think it's also the way that venue was designed. The way the venue was designed, it had some character to it, and you can tell the way like where the stage was placed. It was meant for live entertainment. Like whoever puts together was thinking about live entertainment ahead of time, which I thought was brilliant. And of course, who could ever forget the chalkboard, that big giant chalkboard, which is pretty much the menu basically, right? So the menu was on his giant chalkboard, handwritten by somebody. Somebody put a lot of work into that. The fine stuff there. I've done such a great job putting that out there. And yeah, so much work went into it. It had so much character, and I'll never forget that. And I know people have advertised a cafe as pretty much the ultimate art hub, and I agree with that 100%. Like I said, it's a home of a lot of great things, but besides music, like I said, comedy improv, there's poetry slam, there was drag shows that happened there, of course. Everyone knows about that. And other cool things, including just seeing up-and-coming artists playing shows there, showcasing their original music, and it's just an unbelievable, cool atmosphere that it had. And when I first decided to do Piano Karaoke Night, Piano Karaoke Night was actually, honestly, one of my favorite nights I have ever hosted. I'm not going to lie. I think if there's one event that I could host constantly for the rest of my life, it would be Piano Karaoke Night. I think the main reason why is because, Piano Karaoke Night is such a cool community gathering of music lovers, right? It doesn't matter if you're a good singer or if you are new to singing, but Piano Karaoke Night gave that platform to people of all singing levels to want to get together and sing their favorite hits on stage with me. And that's the thing I loved about it. But Cafe Deux Soleils played such a huge, huge role. Like the way everything was set up, the lighting, the stage, it was built. It was meant for that. It was meant for Piano Karaoke Night, and that's why Cafe was the home of Piano Karaoke Night for quite a good number of years. And I will never, ever forget how much of a role Cafe has played so much for those nights. And I know a lot of you folks who come in too, like who I've met through those nights. I know there's a few folks who said, hey, I was just coming in to grab a quick bite, but then I saw Piano Karaoke Night happening, and so I just stayed for the whole night. And, those people who I've met through there, I'm so glad to have met you guys through that as well. So here's a picture of the cafe. I took a picture of this morning, actually. I was out earlier today, and I figured I should, just pop by at Cafe on Commercial Drive just to see how it looks like. And yeah, so apparently all the chairs have already been put aside. They've been put away. I saw a bunch of other stuff, being put aside. So yeah, they've already closed the whole place down. So it is a really sad sight to see, but like I said, this place was so unique. It has so much character, just by the design, the atmosphere, and everything. So of course you guys are wondering what did happen. Why did Cafe close abruptly? So according to CBC News, the owner, Jeff Masonette, he said that Cafe had become impossible to keep in business, ever since the pandemic, basically. So he said he would have to double the prices if he had to keep this place in business, and it has been hard for him to find staff that were available. So that has been the main factors that played a role into Cafe closing down. So that's what happened according to the interview on CBC News. And a lot of my friends, of course, online have spoken about this, about the whole thing of how cafe has played a huge role in your life. And like I said, my good friend Daniel, who has hosted Comedy Improv Night, he has done such a a terrific job putting on together those improv nights, and I've been there quite a good number of times, and I always had a great time. I laughed my head off, and it's great, and and I really do feel that I think a lot of us really felt like cafe has been second home for us, and I think it's something that sometimes we feel like this is a great escape from after a hard week at work or school, whatever it is that you guys do. If you were not performing, but you just want to go to a night and enjoy something that's happening in there, for sure you will have a good time. And that's how I personally felt with cafe. And every time, whenever I hosted the Piano Karaoke Nights, I always look forward to it. And then just seeing everyone piling in, grabbing their seats, and getting ready to sign up to sing songs with while I get my piano all ready, all ready to go. It was the hype that made it so cool. But before Piano Karaoke Night became more my thing as well. Like I said, I think the one event that has always been a big thing for me, that where I made most of my music scene friends, was the open mic night. And what really drew me to that was that there was always such a great turnout every time I go to that open mic night. It's just something about it that I liked, and I think it was just the fact that I'm seeing different kinds of people out here. I'm seeing I'm seeing like all these different talented people who have so much to offer. I meet some, and even if we see people who are just beginners, right? Like, still, like, I don't know, like people were so good at being supportive with them all the way through, even if they've messed up on a few notes here and there or messed up on the lyrics. Hey, it didn't matter. People were so supportive regardless after the set was over, and you know what? You just make new friends that way. You gain new fans or whatever it may be. Your reason for coming to Cafe's open mic night. A lot of my friends were from those nights, and of course, it's a lot. It's still a lot for me to take in. Just the fact that this venue has actually shut down completely. But like I said, it's something I will never forget. Though I will never forget, all the amazing, talented people, who've done such amazing work, honing their craft on stage. And even the best part was at the open mic, just seeing these people grow. And yeah, it's like I said, guys, this is just so much for me to take in. Just knowing that this place that has meant a lot to us, to a lot of us, is officially gone. So yeah. So again, I just want to give a big shout out, of course, to all the people who've hosted the open mic nights in the past. Who was of course, our buddy Matt. Of course, there's Scotty. There's Chelsea, Ali, and Steve. All those folks who I come across. Or of course Fraser, one of the earlier hosts back in the day. All these folks who've hosted the open mic nights, they've done such amazing work, and like I said, like for them to engage with the crowd, it's just amazing, And I think one of the things I love, if you guys have known me back then I used to go to the open mic nights at Cafe a lot. I think one of the fun things I used to do, I used to do a lot of the yes chant. So in case you guys didn't know where I got the yes chant from, not a lot of, maybe some of you may not know about this, but I am a huge wrestling fan. I watch WWE. I even watch AEW now at this point too, right? But But back then, you know, Brian Danielson, or Daniel Bryan back then, he was one of the most popular wrestlers at this point. And so by that time, the Yes chant became so popular. So every time, of course, I get the crowd to do the Yes chant, just for the fun of it, and people just followed along really well. But we didn't, of course, do that just for my set. We've also used the Yes chant during whenever anyone did a really incredible performance. My friends and I at a table, we would just start the Yes chant right away, and then it carried on throughout the rest throughout the entire building. So that was some really fun times right there. And of course, I do that same thing for Piano Karaoke Night. For those of you who know how I do things, a lot of my inspiration comes from WWE, AEW, WCW, like all those wrestling shows, right? Because I love, because wrestling is so entertaining, right? I mean, if you guys are wrestling fans, you know it. You love the entertainment factor, and so I figure I love to incorporate the entertainment that I've seen from wrestling and put that into my music as well. And it does work if given the right circumstance, but it does work for most of it from what I've experienced. But it was so cool just to have just have a really cool packed crowd who would just support every artist of every level along the way. And I think this is what I enjoyed so much about Cafe open mic night. It's and if you guys haven't seen it yet, I did make a few returns to that open mic in recent months, before the shutdown of Cafe. And I was so fortunate that I got my friend Steve to record a couple of my performances for the open mic night. And yeah, what was it? It's on Instagram actually. So if you go to my Instagram, which is ALM Music, that's my Instagram account. There's one video of me playing an acoustic cover of Yellow Card's Ocean Avenue, good classic by the way. And then I also did an acoustic version of Chris Jericho's band Fozzy, Judas. So again, wrestling, right? The wrestling factors back here again. So I did an acoustic version of Judas by Chris Jericho's band Fozzy, and I got the crowd to sing the chorus of that song, and yeah, it was such a really fun time, and I'm so glad to have actually done this before Cafe shut down. So yeah. So I can share a lot of other memories too about the open mic night. Of course, I think one of the ones I can also say that made it so awesome is just that I would have like people who are not from Vancouver. They would come to town. They would stay just for for a little bit, like temporarily, living in Vancouver, and just seeing how supportive the audience members are. Even to somebody who's new to Vancouver, the support was right there. It was so endless. It was amazing. And like you see different people come by and you see how much of an impact they make musically, right? And of course friendship wise too, personally as well. And you see some really cool talented people that are that come to Cafe just to stop by, whether it's just like a one-time visit or they become new regulars. But like I said, Cafe's open mic night was a community hub for me, for us musicians who are just trying to do our thing and get ourselves out there. And I will never forget that kind of atmosphere it provides. Yeah, and like I said, with this being such an unscripted, unrehearsed thing for me to say, I could just ramble on and on about everything about the open mic night. Of course, that would be, that would take many hours. But I'm trying to keep this under limited time. But like I said, a big thanks to every one of you guys who I met through the open mic night. If you guys still have me on your social medias, again, I thank you so much that we've not only maybe crossed paths, but of course for those who I collaborated with in the past. If I collaborate with you guys, you know who you are. It's been such a great pleasure to meet you guys through there, and I hope that doesn't stop us from collaborating more in the future. And again, to all the staff and managers who've been so good with me to be so supportive of having Piano Karaoke Night taking place at your cafe. I thank you guys so much for that as well. What you did was you provided an amazing home, a second home for artists. To escape from such a very hard, a very busy, hard life, and you give us a place for us to express ourselves, to establish our musical endeavors somehow. And yeah, you guys played such a huge role, and so we thank you so much for that. So go back here now to this to the screenshot. So um yeah, so now I guess the bigger question is, where do we go from here? Honestly, I know the obvious answer is we have to move forward. Easier said than done. But like I said, it's still a bit of a process for me to 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 uh to go through this. Just knowing the fact that a huge part of East Vancouver is gone, musically speaking, artistically speaking. It's because of how unique it is. It's hard to you can't replace that. However, I guess I really feel like at the same time, it is important for us to keep banding together as a community, to find new places, new hubs, new homes for us artists, to showcase our skill set. There will be something happening, hopefully, along the way. We don't know what it is, but I really hope that for those of you who may be wanting to start something new, a new cool venue, a new place for us artists, we hope that whatever it is that you do, if you are in a position to open a place, open a new home for us artists, we we are more than ready to be there for you. And of course, like I said, it is important for artists to band together as a community, and both artists and music lovers and art lovers should band together as a community to make something happen. And quite honestly, if something is going to be open along the way, that is going to be welcoming to us artists, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I will be there. I will be there to have your guys' back 100%. And I really do hope that the closure of Cafe won't stop us from doing what we love to do. And like I said, I know easier said than done. But I guess it's also, I feel like it's my duty to also say to you guys that I hope that all you artists and art lovers of every kind find a way to keep supporting each other as a community, as family, because we really do need each other more than ever. Despite all the closures that have been happening around town, I just want to say that please do not let this stop you from doing and supporting what you love to do. And I guess that's an advice for myself as well. But I just wanted to say thank you all who thank you all who have been supporting me of everything I do musically since day one. And if I've met you guys, even within the last couple of years too, I've met some really incredible people who are not from here in Vancouver. I met people who are from the other side either from the other side of the country or other side of the world. You guys have made such a great impact in my life, and I will never forget you guys. But I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep making music, no matter what it takes. Even if I have to. Yeah, even if I'm, doing some really cool outside the box stuff that is, not normal to me, but I'm trying to challenge myself every time musically. I will keep doing that for sure, and I feel like it is important to, experiment and try new things, which every artist should be doing to challenge themselves a bit. But I I just want to say straight up, I couldn't have done it without you guys. Your guys' support means so much to me, and I mean that every single time I say this. Your guys' support has been um, so outstanding, and I really hope that we can keep doing that for each other. And I hope that there will be ways for all of us as a community to get together to really find ways to improve our local music scene here in Vancouver. It's not an easy town to live in. We all know that for sure, 100%. But I think as long as we have each other, we have to keep challenging ourselves, each other, and find ways of how we can support each other and make this scene an amazing local music scene, an amazing art scene altogether. I guess that's all I have to say for today's podcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in today. Again, this was not something easy for me to want to talk about, but I know you folks have said that Cafe Deux Soleils has played a huge role in my music career, and that's very true. And I feel that this was, instead of your usual Facebook post, I felt that this was an alternative for me to do this. I think doing this podcast, spontaneous podcast, was the right thing to do. Just to, pay tribute to such an unforgettable venue. So again, I will repeat this again. To all my friends I've met through that venue, it's great to make friends with you. It's good. It's good to have you guys being a part of my life, and I hope we continue to stay in touch. To all the staff and the management of Cafe Deux Soleils, I thank you guys so much for giving us a place to express our art, to express ourselves in every way possible. And my thoughts and prayers go out to you guys. I really do hope that you guys will have will be finding work elsewhere where you can definitely use your skills and take it to a whole new level. And to every other artist out there, like I said before, I will say it again. Let's keep banding together as a community and make this scene a great one. We have the power to do this, but we will. Let's fight the obstacles together, and let's keep moving forward and make the impossible possible. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my podcast. Again, big shout out to everyone who's tuned in, and I will sign off by saying, stay in touch, stay safe, and as always, stay incredibly awesome. Have a great night.